It's national meets regional. It's Sidewalks Entertainment. The long-running celebrity, music, and art series. Join us for a new path to arts and entertainment.
Our guest today is a talented actor of television, stage, and film. He's best known for his roles in Glory Road, A Beautiful Mind, and Sweet Home, Alabama. I'd like to welcome Josh Lucas to Sidewalks.
Very
Hello,
happy
Josh.
to be here, Cindy. Thank you for having me.
Gosh, it's so wonderful. We sure appreciate you being with us today. So, you know, being a working actor is not an easy road. It's quite tough. Did you feel like you were prepared for the road ahead when you first decided this was what you wanted to do for a living?
Ooh, did I feel like I was prepared? You know, I don't know that anyone can truly prepare for a career in this job because it is so transitory and up and down, and there's good times and bad times. It's a very unstable job. And also that's one of the reasons why I love it so much, because it's constantly challenging. You're constantly having to, I guess in a sense, reinvent or recreate yourself. But in reality, what we do is we play cowboys and Indians for a living. I mean, it's make-believe, and there's nothing more fun when it comes down to it. And sometimes, you know, you have wonderful moments like Sweet Home Alabama where you get paid to kiss Reese Witherspoon for the day. And then other times where you're walking down, you know, through the middle of Princeton University making a film with Russell Crowe. I mean, the highs and lows are quite remarkable.
Right. Well, now, do you have a process that you follow as an actor, like when you're preparing for a role? What do you like to do?
You know, I mean, honestly, for me, the research is the most fun. It's the sense of like you get, you know, the moment where a script comes that they decide they want you and you decide you want to do it, and then you automatically, what happens to me is if it's a movie I'm really interested in, I will get quite scared every single time that I feel like, oh, I don't know how to do this, how to create this character or play this character or make him as real as possible. So if it's somebody, you know, who is a very specialized personality in terms of like, okay, so let's say Don Haskins for Glory Road. You know, that was a famous basketball coach who a lot of people knew, and they had a relationship with him, whether it was just through watching him coach or whether they themselves knew him. And then for me, I got to meet him and spend time with him, and I had these amazing advisors like Pat Riley and Tim Floyd and all these great coaches who helped me understand not just basketball coaching, but also understand Don Haskins. But the person I obviously had the most impact on playing Don Haskins was Don Haskins, who said to me from day one, he basically punched me in the belly and he said, son, if you're going to play me, you better start drinking beer. And that's what we do. We'd go out, drink beer and drink tequila in the middle of the desert in his old truck and talk about his life. And so each movie presents a kind of great challenge that way of, if the character is fictional, you get to come up with it yourself, but if it's not, if it's someone who's real, then you have a pretty intense responsibility to that person, but also the family and the people who know those people.
Sure, yeah. Well, Josh, one of the reasons that you're here today is that you've teamed up with Intercontinental Hotel Group for a special promotion called Real Summer. Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, that's the thing. So IHG Rewards Club, and IHG, they have a bunch of hotels like Holiday Inns and Staybridge Suites, and even a new hotel they're doing called Even Hotels, which sounds very cool. But so they're giving their reward members movie tickets. They're doing a bunch of different things that basically celebrate movies, and one of them is for the people who, you know, whether you're a member, a Rewards Club member or not, you can go to ihg.com/myrealsummer and upload a movie that you create, 15 seconds you have. The kiosk itself you'll be able to go into like a photo booth and make a movie, you know, whether you go into it and talk about movies, or you can go inside of it and kiss your girlfriend for 15 seconds if it's cinematic. And, you know, basically do something that we're gonna then take and look at all of the entries and decide 25 people will be chosen to but to be chosen from a Hollywood casting director who then is going to choose the best film, which I'm going to be a part of making that choice, that then that person will come to New York City, have lunch with me, talk movies, all expense paid trip basically, and hopefully they'll be able to come to my new movie set or TV show, depending on what exactly I'm doing. and talk about, you know, why we all love movies. It's a kind of interesting thing for me to be a part of. I guess atypically, because we're not asking people to buy something. We're actually doing the opposite, where we're asking you to create something and then giving you the chance to win a nice trip.
Absolutely. And the best part, of course, is you, Josh.
Well, I think I'm happy to be a part of it. The best part is to come to New York and you know, come to this wildly cinematic city and go somewhere together and have lunch and talk. You know, basically talk about movies.
I love that. Josh, you have done, you know, big productions, small productions, independent films over the years. Sort of from an actor's point of view, what is the biggest difference between the two?
You know, a lot of it comes down to comfort. I mean, my favorite movie I've made in the last number of years was actually Big Sur. Shot, you know, in Big Sur, we shot some of it in San Francisco. And that movie was made for no money. And so we, you know, literally in a movie like that, you're staying, I literally stayed in a yurt in Big Sur that I paid for myself in order to be able to be there and make that movie and experience. So the transitions that happen from the big movies to the little movies are sort of remarkable, because I just did a movie here in New York City where I took the subway to work every day at 4 o'clock in the morning because it was such a long subway ride way up into Harlem. I did my own makeup and hair. And then you have movies like, you know, Beautiful Mind, or I did Edgar recently that Clint Eastwood directed. And you know, again, when you have those big movies, you have a lot of support around you to make it as comfortable as possible. But you know, it's amazing these days. Movies have changed so much where anybody can make a movie. You know, obviously, if anyone's seen that really interesting documentary about the making of Apocalypse Now, where Francis Ford Coppola talks about how someday soon we will be at a point where a little 9-year-old girl makes a movie on her phone. And that's what's happening. And in a sense, that's what IHG Rewards Club is giving people the opportunity to do here, is make a movie on your phone, you know? And I can't wait to see what creatively people come up with. I mean, it's not a long period of time, 15 seconds, but I'm always amazed what people can do. And again, so this kiosk will be, you know, in Justin Herman Plaza on July 18th in San Francisco. Come make a movie there.
Nice. Josh, as we close, you have worked with some really great actors in your career. Has there been a favorite? And if so, did they give you some career advice that you still use today?
You know, I was really lucky. I have been really lucky from very early on. I worked with George C. Scott when I was 19 years old, who gave me great advice. Wow. I worked with Russell Crowe and Sean Penn and, you know, Reese Witherspoon. And I've sort of had a remarkable run of actors who have been in it and have done it for, you know, decades. And George C. Scott, I mean, he was from the very beginning, the guy who played Patton, basically, you know, punched me on the shoulder and said, man, you're gonna do this, basically love it, live it, eat it, drink it, sleep it, you know? Like, it's that thing of like, it's passion, it's an interesting job. And consistently, I've had some great advisors.
Josh, thank you so much for being with us today on Sidewalks. It was just a pleasure to meet you today. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Cindy. Thanks a lot for having me.
My pleasure. Take care.
Cool.
For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit sidewalkstv.com.